show you how all four gospels say that Jesus was crucified and placed in the tomb on Friday. All right, so first we understand that the Sabbath day was always Saturday in Jewish culture. All right, Friday would have been the preparation day for the Sabbath. All right, so let's go through this. All right, so here in Matthew, it says Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were seated there facing the tomb. So Jesus is already in the tomb. The next day, which follows the preparation day. So again, this must be Saturday because the preparation day is Friday. All right, the preparation day is always before the Sabbath. And you can see here, Jesus is already in the tomb. This indicates that he died on Friday. That's what Matthew says. Mark is going to make it even more clear. Here in Mark, you see here that it says it was the day of preparation, and that is the day before the Sabbath. And what happens then? Joseph of Arimathea, he goes and asks for the body of Jesus. So the body of Jesus is still on the cross when? On the preparation day, the day before the Sabbath. So you can see here, Mark is clearly agreeing with what was placed in Matthew. Of course, we know Mark was written first, Matthew was written after. So again, two gospels saying that Jesus was crucified on the preparation day. His body is still on the cross. And so here in Luke and in John, you see in Luke it says it was the preparation day and the Sabbath was about to begin. We know the Jews can't do any work on the Sabbath, which is why they pierced him in the side to make sure that he was already unalive, so that they could take his body off of the cross because nothing could be done on the Sabbath day. So they were in a hurry to get this done. All right. John says they placed Jesus there because of the Jewish day of preparation and since the tomb was nearby. We're going to make this even more clear. All right. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all saying Jesus was crucified and unalived on Friday, the day of preparation. So here's a biblical scholar telling us that the word preparation itself is actually the word for Friday. All right. Read it in your own time. So the word preparation itself literally means Friday. And all four gospels tell us that Jesus was crucified and unalived on Friday. In 2 minutes. Now, how do we deal with this John 19 and 31, this high, or other translations say special Sabbath? Well, every week we know in the Jewish calendar there is a Sabbath. Every Saturday is a Sabbath. All right. Now, every Saturday does not occur during the Passover. All right. That only occurs at special time during the year. Now, this particular Sabbath was a special or high Sabbath because it occurred during the Passover. Nothing in scripture says additional Sabbath. It says high or special day, indicating we've already seen all four gospels say he was crucified on the preparation day. This particular Sabbath just happened to be a special Sabbath because unlike every other Sabbath, this one occurred during the Passover. That's it. And we know that because John 19:14 in the same chapter says it was the preparation day for the Passover. That's it, family. There was no additional Sabbath. Nothing in scripture says that. And here's D.A. Carson telling us the same thing. Jesus was crucified on Friday, on the preparation day of the Sabbath. All right, and our final chart, so this should make it easy. Jesus was crucified and placed in the tomb on Friday. All right, the preparation day. He had to be off of the cross prior to sundown on Friday. All right, so Friday, he's in the tomb. That's day one. Day two, all day Saturday, he's in the tomb. And then Sunday, he gets up. And again, in the Jewish reckoning of time, any part of a day is a full day.
So Wednesday night, I got it shaded in gray. Wednesday night would be the first night. Thursday would be the second night. Friday would be the third night. And because he was buried before it got dark on Wednesday, or as it's getting dark on Wednesday, Thursday will be your first day, the first day portion of a day. Friday would be the second day portion, and Saturday, the Sabbath, would be the third day portion, giving you exactly 3 days and 3 nights. Not know he rose up on Sunday morning. Okay. Shalom, y'all. Once again, I'm going to try to make this as short as I can make it. You just saw the video. I don't even think the brother believes what he's saying out of his own mouth, to be honest with you. I'm going to start out with the book of Psalms, chapter 111. 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever. So how are you going to understand something if you're not doing it? That don't make sense. So the brother was going on and on about Friday, knowing that Friday evening is the Sabbath, and he's trying to say that Christ died on Friday evening. It's not true. I'll put it that way. I ain't trying to take no shots. And then rose on Sunday, and it's just weird to me. And he's pulling these scholars that are saying certain things, but we're supposed to go by as it is written. So the way he summed it up, he was saying, like he went at John 9:31, and he was trying to say that it was just a Sabbath during the Passover week, man. I'm going to prove that wrong real quick. I'm going to go to Leviticus chapter 23. I'm trying to prove a point here. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 5. It says, in the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. So Christ died on the Passover. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. So you have the memorial of the Passover, which is when Christ died. Then you have the feast of unleavened bread, which starts the next night. Now watch this. This is in regards to the 7-day feast. It's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Some places and some people call it the Feast of the Passover. Now watch this. Verse 7. In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. What does that mean? That means it's a Sabbath day. It's a high holy day. It's outside of the weekly Sabbaths. It's outside of the new moons. You have high holy days like the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which the first day and the last day are Sabbaths. And you have tabernacles, which the first day and the last day are Sabbaths. And you have the Feast of Pentecost, which is a Sabbath. And that always falls on a Sunday. But these are the 3 times. This is what makes it a high holy day. It's holy convocations, and these 3 days, these 3 events, all the men of Israel are supposed to report to Jerusalem for the feast. It's a high day, separate from any other days. What he's saying is weird as hell. But we'll go to Numbers 28. It's going to say the same thing. Numbers chapter 28 and verse 16. And in the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of the Lord. So this is the day that Christ gives his life. And he has to be taken off of the cross before the Sabbath comes in, meaning the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the high holy day. Verse 17, and in the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. In the first day shall be in holy convocation. Ye shall do no manner of servile work therein. So the next day after Christ died, the day that starts the count is the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It's not the week. Christ is dead and buried by Wednesday night. By the time that the feast comes in, he's dead and buried. Now, I'm gonna go to John 19. This is so easy. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to John 13 first. So this is the night of the Passover. They're eating the Passover right here. Now watch this verse 13 and 1. John chapter 13 and verse 1. Now, before the feast of the Passover. So this is before the feast. Everybody's coming to Jerusalem for the feast. This is the memorial of the Passover. This is the 14th. Now, before the feast of Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. Verse 2, and supper being ended. So this is the memorial of the Passover. This is the meal, the bitter herbs, the lamb, and the unleavened bread. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon, to betray him. So this is that night. Now, John chapter 19. This is so easy. John chapter 19 and verse, I'm going to start at 13. It says, when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabbatha. Verse 14. And it was the preparation of the Passover. It was not the preparation of the weekly Sabbath. It's the preparation of the feast of the Passover, the 7-day feast of the Passover. And about the 6th hour, and he said unto the Jews, behold your king. So they're preparing for the 7-day feast of the Passover. Now verse 31. Says the Jews therefore, because it was the preparation, that the bodies should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day. For that Sabbath, meaning the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, it was the preparation that the bodies should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath. For that Sabbath was an high day. Besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Let me wrap it up with this. We'll go to Deuteronomy 16. I may end it here with Deuteronomy 16. But you got to study so that you don't fall for the lies. I'm going to go to verse 16. This is Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread. So you have to be there for the feast of unleavened bread. And in the feast of weeks, that's Pentecost, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. I said I was going to stop there. No, just one more. I should have got it when I was here. Leviticus 23 again. And verse says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. That's gonna do it, y'all. I mean, it's easy. I could go on and on and on and on, like he went to Mark. So the day that Christ was buried was the preparation day for the feast of unleavened bread. It was not the preparation for the weekly Sabbath. And Lord have mercy, still, no matter how you look at what he's saying, on Friday to Sunday morning, it's not 3 days. You can see it in this man's eyes. He doesn't believe it himself, but he's fully convinced by the people that taught him this doctrine. I'm your brother Jacob. Shalom.